Hello there.
Hello there.
Welcome to another episode of What If Qui-Gon Didn't Die? This week, we're asking another question. It'll be a very short-lived podcast if we only talked about Qui-Gon Jinn and not dying.
Yeah.
So we have to come up with other things to talk about as well. And
Anakin.
And this week, we've decided we want to ask the question, what if Anakin never reunited with Padme Amidala?
Bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say.
That's why I'll never be a rapper.
Yeah.
My flow is excellent, but I just stutter constantly.
Especially with words like that. Reunited. Oh, yeah. That's a really good one because it actually affected all three films she did, didn't she?
Yeah,
she affected Anakin for every film.
Yeah.
Even up until episode bazillion that they might do. It's always going to be Padme.
Yeah.
She ruined Anakin. His poor little teenage, testosterone-filled mind.
Yeah.
Was just traumatized by her.
Yeah, it's story shaping, isn't it?
Yes.
If it wasn't for that, then yeah, we'd be dealing with something very different. So obviously we meet Padme Amidala in episode 1.
Yeah.
She's in the first 3 episodes, and she's the Queen of Naboo, isn't she? Or is she? Yeah, she's Queen. Is she Queen Amidala? And then she's a senator.
Yeah. Queen Amidala, and then she becomes Senator Amidala after episode 1. But then she goes. Or is it episode 1 that she's?
I think
a senator. Because doesn't she have the double with her?
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think she is the queen at the start because in the later episodes they go back to Naboo and there's a different queen. But Padme is still there, but she's now the senator, so she's now got more power in the galaxy
as a whole than just the Queen of Naboo. Yeah, I
feel like the Queen of Naboo is more like an honorary title for
somebody underneath the Senate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because when they had that meeting, because they swapped over, didn't they? So her copycat pretended to be the Queen while Padme was still listening.
Yeah.
And then she would walk off and have other meetings and stuff like that. Yeah. All ties into one a little bit because she looks the same age in all the films, and everybody else grows up around her,
which is kind of weird.
Yeah. She just stays 19 forever. Thinking about Anakin, because when you're a young man, and he obviously met her when he was he 11, 9?
Yeah, he must have been like 9 years old or something.
Yeah, because we looked into it, didn't we? And she was 14.
Yeah.
So he's still a bit younger than her, and then for him to meet her again when he's a little bit older, and he's got the rat's tail, and he's with Obi-Wan.
There's the old Padawan.
Yeah, like at this point, he would be flooded with hormones. Yeah. And he would be flooded with other manly things and thoughts. Even though he can't do them, he obviously knows
Dirty
about
boy.
them. Yeah, well, essentially, yeah. Because that's just nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Jedi push it away, but...
Yeah, he's still human, isn't he?
He's still a young man.
And
this girl talks to him.
Yeah.
unlike us lot, I've never had any women talking.
And she's not exactly ugly, is she? So
No, plot twist. She's beautiful.
To clarify, when she's older.
Yes. When she's the right age for it.
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
So we meet Padme when she's 14 and when Anakin is 8, 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah, he's around that sort of 10 mark, isn't he?
And he's never met anybody because as a slave, which he was a slave to Watto.
Yeah.
He must have lived a sheltered life.
Yeah, because that town had so many people in there, but his actual interaction with all of these people...
Because he wasn't free, he couldn't just wander around.
No, so it would have been very limited.
Yeah.
And then to openly be met with a woman and them talk to him not as a slave,
as a person.
Yeah, that instantly would have just been like
to get that recognition.
Yeah, rabbit in the headlights kind of vibe, where he's just like, wow, this person, you know, I've got this old dad over here. Oh, Qui-Gon, like he'll tuck me in at night, but when I'm old enough, I'm taking this girl out. I'm buying her some flowers.
Yeah. So that's obviously how they meet, and I think because of that interaction, he becomes besotted. It's less obvious in that first episode because he is young, but as time goes on and he matures, his hormone levels change, etc. He's never forgotten her.
No, because when he meets her again, it is instant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can't remember what he says, but I think he repeats his line, because when he was young Anakin, he says something like "You're an angel" or something.
That's right. Yeah, he does.
And I think, I might be wrong, but I think he repeats that line, or he says "You're still, you know, blah blah, beautiful, gorgeous angel." In episode 2, I'm sure he says something when they meet again.
Yeah, I can't quite remember, but like you say, it's instant. That the way they hit it off is.
Yeah, and she knows who he is as well.
Yeah, and she won't have forgotten.
Because I think as well, she acts like she sees him on a regular basis. I don't know if it's just her acting style, but he makes out he hasn't seen her in a long time. But she sort of just looks at him with that sort of, "Don't worry, I've been keeping an eye on you anyway."
But is this like a royal kind of duty? So you can imagine royalty might see someone. The next time they see them, they can't pretend they've never seen them before. They can't pretend to keep that. They're separated from the rest of the common folk. So to keep them on a level, they probably say like, "Oh yeah, how's such and such?" Or they'll have been briefed beforehand, but they come across as being familiar.
Yeah.
To keep them on a level field, I guess.
Yeah, because she would have been briefed as well that Anakin and Obi-Wan were coming.
And she'll remember Anakin because
he was the chosen one.
That was an adventure. She was on an adventure there.
Yeah.
You know, she went to a planet that was completely alien to what she was used to.
Yeah.
There was a little boy who could just those pod races. Yeah. You know,
he went up against grown alien men.
Yeah.
Who cheated and he still won.
Yeah. And he's tenacious and he's got something about him.
Yeah. And these two wizards from the Jedi Council, you know.
Yeah.
These old boys wanted to take him away and they brought him.
She'd never forget
No.
any of those because it was, and she'll have seen a lot of stuff, but that would have been something definitely memorable.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a bit confused now. Is episode 2 when she falls out of or was it episode 3 where she falls out of the gunship?
That must have been episode 3 because that would have been Clone Wars, right?
Yes, because Anakin's got long hair, yeah. So I'm just thinking of the build-up between him reuniting with her and say, for example, that time. Because between then, was she pregnant at that point?
She must have been pregnant for the majority of that third film.
Yeah, must have been. So actually, in their time in the second film, this is my point by the way, that they must have A, done it, and B, done it. Even though Anakin should have been a bit more into the rules of the Jedi Council.
Yes.
Because he's known nothing from when Qui-Gon died and he was taken away up to the second film. He's had nothing but Obi-Wan teach him the ways.
Yeah.
And he's instantly, for Padme, just gone, nope.
Yeah, forget all that.
I'm going to think with me other brain instead.
Yeah. What an effect that must have, though.
Because imagine if he didn't meet her, and say they went to look after another senator, so they could still go to look after a senator.
Yeah.
So the storyline could progress because he still has to meet the Emperor, doesn't he, and all of this sort of thing. And but he wouldn't have had that need to rebel against the rules. Say, for example, if it wasn't her, and he would have done his duty, and maybe he would have never crossed paths and wanted to be the Anakin he became with the Emperor. Because maybe if it was a different senator, he would have just stayed in the background. But this is what we said about the Qui-Gon stuff as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for meeting Padme, he wouldn't be who he is now.
Yes.
He wouldn't have been Vader. So because the Emperor would have gone, oh, I don't even know who this kid is. It's only because of Padme.
Yeah.
And he obviously knows that something's going on, that it all sort of accumulates into the storyline where he becomes obsessed almost. Because Anakin does become obsessed with her.
Oh, definitely.
And they go off on that little secret holiday, don't they?
That's
and stuff
right,
like
yeah.
that. And you just think, how's he got away with that? When the council's up there going, oh, shouldn't have a girlfriend.
Just circling back quickly, I think it makes sense when you break rules and you go, well, I shouldn't do this, but for you I'm going to break this rule, and then you break another rule, and then you break another rule. By the time the Emperor is fully influential and he's asking him to break, he's not even asking him, he's suggesting.
Yeah, he's only tickling him, isn't he, to do it.
To do things which are slightly grey area, not ideal, but for the greater good.
The greater good.
It's easy to just add one more little indiscretion to a list.
Yeah, it's like a lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can just add one more little white lie to that.
And nobody will know, because I'm getting away with these other ones.
Yeah, yeah.
If he had never reunited with Padme and their romance storyline had never taken off, he would have broken nearly zero rules. I imagine all the Jedi break rules all the time, but one of the core tenets, I suppose you'd call them, of being a Jedi is it's a life of essential solitude, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. No, you can't be emotional. Yeah, you have to be emotional to defend people, but you don't.
You can't use romantic. You can't use personal emotion.
That's it. It's personal emotion for gain.
Yeah.
To obviously further yourself with power or with reasoning. It has to be, obviously. But then
it's empathy that they should have.
Yeah.
Not emotion.
Yeah.
So they have to see other people in distress and go, okay,
I'm a keeper of the peace,
and I'm going to
help them out.
Yeah.
But then in the Clone Wars series, in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan has a romantic thing with what's her name? Oh, leader of the Mandalorians at the time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't remember her name. That's going to annoy me till I get home. But yeah, he has a romantic thing with her.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't actually. It's not implied that they do anything.
It's not a pursuit. It's not a pursuit.
It's not a pursuit, but they obviously, and it's shown quite openly that they both care about each other. But it's a strange time in the Clone Wars because there's a few things going on, which we'll obviously talk about in another podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you think, actually, I don't blame Obi-Wan. And everyone goes, that's all right. He's allowed to do that because he didn't do what Anakin did in run off with her.
Yes.
Didn't go and obviously do things to have babies with. He hasn't broken all the rules.
He's got. It sounds like he's got a more platonic relationship.
Yeah.
But because it's opposite sex,
it just looks that way.
It looks like it could be romantic, and it could lead to romance. And I suppose if it's in the middle of the Clone Wars, everybody's in disarray.
Yeah.
The Jedi Council's a mess.
Yeah.
The Senate's a mess.
Yeah.
Everything is up in the air. Where do you get your guidance from?
Apart from yourself.
Yeah. And at that moment, you could go and talk to Yoda, you could go and talk to Mace Windu, and you could ask their opinion, but they're busy.
Yeah.
They don't have time. They don't have time, and things are falling apart. They're preoccupied. They don't want to hear about. Oh, you feel like you're straying from the path, do you?
Yeah. No, but we're trying to figure out where this dark side's coming from.
Yeah, we want to try and stop the galaxy from being destroyed.
Yeah.
Sort yourself out.
Yeah, yeah. Just go and tug one out and get over her.
Give yourself a force tug and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but yeah. So Obi's got that, and maybe that's why Anakin does what he does with Padme, because even though he at the time of the second film, obviously I don't think this stuff in the Clone Wars has happened, but Obi-Wan's quite an emotional guy, isn't he? If you think about it, and maybe that's why Anakin, he feels bad for it, but I don't think he's like distraught that he's broke the rules, because he knows Obi-Wan's an emotional guy, and he'll probably understand in some way. I mean, by the end he understands anyway.
Yeah.
Because he knows full well that Padme's pregnant and that Anakin's done all of these things with her and done that. But
that's not the worst of what Anakin's doing.
Exactly. So at the time, it's not so bad. And like, he wants to help Padme because he loves her, obviously, as a sister or whatever, or a daughter, or looks after her. But yeah, maybe because Obi's quite emotional and he does wear his heart on his sleeve when it comes to Anakin. Anakin maybe feels like, oh well, Uncle Obi will say it's all right if I get with this girl here and keep it under wraps for a little bit, so that Grandad Mace Windu don't find out, and give me a ruler on the hand.
Yeah.
But it's difficult, isn't it? Because as humans, we want to pursue things that we love.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. So for you to be told it's wrong to do that, but then you still want to do it, at the age, whatever age Anakin is then, 16, 15, must be, hopefully legal age, it must be really sort of pulling him in two ways to see her again and then instantly go, oh, got a little fuzzy feeling down below I have.
That's hard to deny that feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't deny it.
Yeah.
So now what's he thinking? I've got to lie about that. What's that? Step one onto the bad path.
Yeah.
And the Emperor's there rubbing his little hands. Oh, that's good. He's really tiptoed into the dark waters here by having a missus.
Yeah.
I mean, we laugh about it, but like we said, like remember when I said, if Qui-Gon didn't die, there'd be no Darth Vader. But actually, it's probably Padme's fault that there's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Because if she said, I don't want this young man to bodyguard me because he's like 15, I would rather another Jedi, please. And they'd go, oh, yep, fine, because you're above us, because you're the Senate, and we're just some little peace warriors. We'll send Mace Windu out with you.
I mean, he might be far too busy, but yes.
Yeah. Well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and then Anakin maybe would, like I said before in the other podcast, he'd still go on all these journeys, but he would have a different influence. It wouldn't be worrying about Padme, seeing Padme die all the time in his dreams. He wouldn't have that, would he? Because he wouldn't be having these emotions for her.
Yeah. He
would just be having them because of maybe something else, or maybe he wouldn't go to certain places. But yeah. Brain's tingling now because there's loads that could go on, because they kiss on that planet, don't they? And they go away, and it's really weird that they were allowed to go away. And she's like, oh, I'm going to go on holiday to this random like grass planet.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Anakin's going to come with me and carry my bags for me. And all the Jedi Council went, yeah, all right, young man, young boy going away. Don't forget your training, Anakin. But underhandedly, Obi-Wan's there like, take these condoms, Anakin. Just look at them.
Yeah, right, imagine.
Just like, yeah. Anakin, please be good in his weird sort of Obi-Wan voice. Yeah. Also, take these underhanded condoms. Yeah, but this is just a story, isn't it? Because would they have actually been allowed to do that? If you think about the Jedi Council trying to keep Anakin under wraps.
Yeah.
Because Qui-Gon as well, going back to Qui-Gon, he asked Obi-Wan to look after him. In that second film, Obi-Wan did nothing for Anakin, really. Because he let him get led astray by hormones and women and smiling and all of this funny dancing around.
Because he's also... They've spent time together. Like we've previously discussed, growing up together, essentially.
Yeah.
There's not that big an age gap between them, really.
Oh, Obi-Wan and Anakin, no.
But maybe 10 years.
Yeah, maybe not even that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how old Obi-Wan is in the first episode, you know.
And he inherits as master role, so that he can train Anakin. But he's immature.
Still at that point, yeah.
So
yeah.
the training he's given, sure, he's shown Anakin how to wield the lightsaber, and he's shown him how to use the Force,
and meditate and all of that, stuff.
All the physical stuff that you can just learn how to do, but it's the mental stuff that he's not given him the tools to be mature with the way that he acts and responds to certain external interactions.
Yeah.
So perhaps Obi-Wan, as great as Obi-Wan is, back at that point, he couldn't provide.
He wasn't the father figure.
No,
I don't think
he needed to be a stronger figure, but he couldn't be because that age gap, it was too small to get that respect, I suppose.
And also he hadn't finished his training, so he didn't have the full father experience. Because all Jedi really are taken as younglings, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Because they're found and then they're brought to the temple, and then they do that. But they're always paired up with people who teach them the ways, and they taught them how to be a good Jedi, but they also helped them grow up.
Yeah.
So I don't like Obi-Wan hadn't finished growing up when he had to help somebody else grow up and teach him how to eat properly, for example, whereas he probably didn't eat properly. And now he's running around with Anakin's running around with a woman who just does what she wants.
Cutting up pears for her.
Yeah, just like, I'll do that for you over here. Yeah, what a weird scene that though as well. Come on, how cringy! How cringy is that scene?
Awful, isn't it?
Yeah, and she's giggling away. I'll be like that. Give me my pear back.
Come on, I've got teeth. I can do it myself.
I've got a knife over here. Yeah. And while they sat at the opposite ends of the table,
it's just very.
It's weird. And if he was bodyguarding her, surely he would just have to stand up outside. A proper bodyguard wouldn't be sat at the table sharing a meal.
It's that lack of professionalism.
Yeah.
Born from a lack of maturity.
Yeah. Lack of being taught how to respect. Yeah. Lack of growing up.
He's got his job, and anybody else will be told, this is your job. You stand there, you observe,
and you react. You be ready if something comes in. Not getting punch drunk on, pears.
You do not interact unless she talks to you.
Yeah.
And that's the professional level that you should be at.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But he's not. And he can't wait.
Yeah, it's like two busy mates going on holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taking a trip down a Weymouth.
which is nice. Like, I think it's nice to have that.
Yeah.
That familiar kind of thing. I think generally it's always better that way,
and it's better storytelling, because if he was like that, I guess we'd watch those scenes and it would just be like, why is he being really cold? Because I guess if he wasn't the way he is, we would then say he's a bit cold toward Padme. Surely he'd be all over her.
Yeah,
it's just like the tables would turn, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
and we'd be having a different conversation. Yeah. Why isn't he all over her?
Yeah.
Obviously he fancies her.
Yeah, so why isn't? Yeah, exactly.
But now he is being all over her.
However, if he was cold, maybe he'd be angry, because he wouldn't be allowed to do what he wanted to do. And anger.
And that would lead to the dark side, and then there would still be Darth Vader. God, we can't escape him becoming Darth Vader. Everything that would happen just leads to him being Darth Vader.
Everything does.
But I love that, though, about him.
His destiny
is to be Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And he can't escape it. Doesn't matter what happens. Every podcast we do, it'll still be Darth Vader.
Do you hear that, Mr. Skywalker?
Yeah.
That is the sound of inevitability. Yeah.
You went a bit Batman then, I like
that. That was my best Agent Smith.
Agent Smith. Inevitability. Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, I'm not very good at it.
Hey, you see what I have become? Great films, by the way. Love The Matrix 1 and 2. Brilliant films.
Let's talk about this another time.
Yeah, sorry, just saying.
Because I've got more to talk about with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that influence obviously does, that Padme has, it doesn't really matter what she does. Anakin's reaction to her presence is enough.
Yeah.
To send him on the path. So if the only way out of it would she and he would have to not cross paths again.
Yeah.
However, Palpatine was the senator for Naboo, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Yeah.
So he wouldn't have met Palpatine if he was guarding another senator until Palpatine took over as Chancellor.
Yeah.
But the only reason Palpatine really knows about Anakin is because of the interaction that they've already had.
Yeah.
Because he was there. So the only way for Anakin to avoid being Darth Vader is to avoid Palpatine, send him down that path. He gives him the push.
Yeah.
Anakin's on the way, but he needs Palpatine to go, you can do this.
Yeah. This have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis? but yeah, but that's it essentially. But then even if it was a different senator, Palpatine would he would probably have his finger in any pie anyway. Yeah, and he'd probably find him and coerce him to do. Maybe he'd find him and the story would be like, oh, you see Padme over there? Yeah, go and have a chat with her.
But remember as well, at this point, he's still got Dooku as an apprentice, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah.
So he's not really looking. Yeah. He's not really looking for Anakin specifically.
No.
He's just looking for a strong Jedi. And the fact is that Anakin has come along, and he has the raw energy that is really required. And when it comes to it, when they meet Dooku, when it comes to that time, Anakin's ready for that moment.
Yeah.
Where Dooku gets defeated. It becomes his destiny. If Anakin was not on Palpatine's radar, Palpatine's got Darth Maul, then he's got Dooku.
Yeah.
He would have just found somebody else. It could have been Obi-Wan next.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It could have been. All he needed was somebody who was
strong in the Force.
Probably with strong resolution.
Yeah.
But just with a weakness that could be exploited. So Anakin's weakness was he was in love with Padme.
And then that emotion.
Well, because what changed him, the thing that made Anakin really go into that dark side path was when Palpatine promised to train him to bring people back to life.
Yeah, to save Padme.
He used a good power.
Yeah.
To turn him bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
because was it the second film Anakin started dreaming that Padme would die, or was that in the third film only?
I think that might just be in the third film. Because we obviously know it's in childbirth.
Yeah.
That's what he's dreaming, but she's not pregnant until the third film, is she?
No.
So I don't think that's part of it until then.
Because it's the third film where they share quarters as well, isn't it? So even though they're on Coruscant with the Jedi Temple, and nobody seems to know that he's sharing a room with Padme every night, because they're married.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, because they don't know, do they?
No, nobody ever mentions it,
even Obi-Wan, who walks into the apartment.
Yeah. Oh, what are you doing here?
Hello there. What's R2 doing here? Yeah. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because regardless of whether he meets one or not, the story ends up the same. I just don't know if the emotion behind him becoming Darth Vader would be the same. Because he needs that emotion of losing Padme, and then the sad irony of him actually, he's the one who kills her anyway.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be that tragic irony for us to feel what we feel for Darth Vader.
It's a tragedy. It's a literal tragedy, isn't it?
Yeah. And he tried to prevent something, but he brought it on himself anyway.
Yeah.
It's like most stories.
Yeah.
But they're the best ones, because you go, oh, dude, oh, come on, you nearly had it. And of course, everyone says the Emperor's really bad, but it's still Anakin's choices.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that force the hand of the story to go that way. But I think that's kind of beautiful.
Palpatine's the enabler at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's all he is, yeah. He's the guy on the corner with the drugs, but Anakin's the one taking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the dealer.
Yeah.
It's Anakin's hand.
That's it.
But Palpatine's giving him the cards.
That's it. But yeah, I like that though. But yeah, it's... Because I think, is it in the third film? Because he's not that much older, is he? So surely he must be the youngest dad in history. 'Cause she's got to be in her 20s, but he must only be 19, 20.
Yeah, he must be about that age. He's still young, isn't he?
Yeah. And considering he hasn't had much interaction with people because of his Jedi training,
yeah,
being able to, have kids with somebody and marry him and do all these things, does she know what to do? Has somebody told her what to do? For them to both sort of just go, yeah, we're going to do this in secret. What, and nobody find out that a senator's got married to a Jedi?
Yeah.
You're telling me that's been kept secret and all these other things. It's a little... That bit on its own is a little bit far-fetched for me. I'm surprised 3PO didn't tell everybody, because he's a gossiping bitch bag, isn't he? He is a little bitch. They can tell him not to say anything, but he rules himself, that boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you must be right though. Maybe 18, 19, maybe 20, because he's got the immaturity.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's right, and that belief that you are right in everything you're doing, you usually grow out of it.
Yeah. It's a young man's game, innit?
Yeah.
Because you quickly realise you're wrong a lot of the time.
And what you've been doing is just closed-minded.
Yeah.
And he's still angry.
Yeah.
But his anger is fueled by what he doesn't know.
That's it. Yeah. And his mum and stuff.
Yeah.
So actually.
Oh yeah, of course, because he goes to the Raiders, doesn't he?
But that's the third film again. So all of these things happen in the third film. Obviously, we're on about him reuniting with her in the second film, but it's the third film because they've reunited. The third film happens the way it does, and he's going to have kids on the way, and he's married Padme, but then he has to go. For some reason, he goes and kills all the Raiders and the women and children too.
Yeah.
And his mum's dead. And then he goes back to his wife, but he can't tell his best mate Obi-Wan that he's married to her.
Yeah, this is all secret stuff he's got.
It's all secrets, and no wonder why his little head loses its marbles, because he's literally spinning 20 plates up there.
Yeah,
and he's just going, oh god, just don't know what to do. And then Palpatine comes along. There.
I'll help you.
Listen to me.
Big Daddy Palpatine.
Yeah. Puts his arm around his shoulder. I'll show you what to do with all of this information.
Because you just use it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Watching that opera thing in this, aren't they? And he's just because I think as well, because of the way they were in the first film, even if he didn't reunite with her in the second film, say for example the writers chose to change it, I think Anakin would still have to reunite with Padme at some point.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we'd have no Luke and Leia for obviously episodes 4, 5 and 6.
I mean, ultimately
it has to happen. It has to happen. Because where would Luke come from?
But I mean, if you were to disregard those episodes
films.
4, 5 and 6 and everything else,
yeah,
if you just start from scratch, the very chronological order, yeah, that would be it. It wouldn't be a very interesting film, probably.
No, but that's what we said about Qui-Gon as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same story for us to get to where Darth Vader's there.
You need the ups and the downs. You need that emotion
to create Darth Vader and the Star Wars that we love that came out originally to carry on, because it's all Padme's bloody fault. I think just sauntering around, making him fancier. How dare she?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we've nailed that there. I think the Padme is the reason.
Yeah, but it's not her fault though. I'm not saying she's a bad person.
It's not her fault.
But it is her fault at the same time.
It's not malicious.
No,
she didn't do it on purpose. Yeah, she didn't know.
It's unintentional. Yeah, unintentional causing of Anakin's.
And he didn't know. Nobody knew.
No,
they just thought they were having a lovely time.
Yeah, but actually, the stress of keeping it a secret, the stress of being a young man who's going to have kids and got married, but also is trying to become a Jedi Master.
Yeah,
you can't juggle it all.
No,
and he had a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Now he's Darth Vader.
And
Uncle Palps was just looking at him on the floor going, well done.
I told you, don't let him get the high ground.
Oh, yeah. Because is it? Because how does he kill her? Does he just push her over? I can't remember how she actually...
I thought she just died childbirth.
Oh, yeah, because he pushed her over, and then while she's giving birth, but she has to give birth emergency styles because he pushed her over.
Yeah.
And then ran off with Obi-Wan to have a little fight over the lava pit.
Yes.
And then it's during the birth thing that she... Yeah, right, yeah, I remember now. I couldn't remember if when he struck her down, that was the reason. And they just had to do like a cesarean on the table. Because Leia's force sensitive, but she weren't, was she? Just to change the subject. Padme wasn't anything to do force sensitive, was it? Leia and Luke got all of their stuff from Anakin.
That's right, because it must have been so strong it just went straight through.
Straight through to both of them, yeah. Yeah, what a strange thing. I still remember the first film as well when there was two of them. And when I was a young lad watching episode 1, I still couldn't, like, which one's Natalie Portman again? And I was like, for the first time I ever watched it, I was like, what's going on?
Yes.
Why are they both looking like that? Why is there two?
And then when you watch it back now, you know exactly when she's the queen and when she's not the queen.
Yeah.
You can really spot her.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But
she's
it's well cast.
Voice and that's, yeah. Oh, very much so, yeah. And even in the second one, I think, when they've got, because it's the same actress, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who plays her double. Yeah, because she's looking at Anakin when he walks in the room with Obi-Wan. She's the one who looks at him, and I think he knows, because I think he looks at the double, but it's actually Padme. Yeah, and it's the double which is talking to them, and Obi-Wan don't get it, but I think Anakin does notice her. So it must be true love, love at first sight.
Yes.
Oh, I feel for him. What women do to us, eh?
I know.
It's a thing.
Ruin us, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Ruin us. Yeah. Right, well, I think
that'll wrap it up.
I
can't slag her off too much more.
No.
Because she's lovely.
And she didn't mean it.
Yeah, she didn't mean it. She's sorry.
She just wanted to be loved.
Yeah. And get poked by Jedi. Anyway, right, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm all done with ideas.
All right, brilliant. Well, thanks for listening to us jabber on for a bit about that.
Yeah, till next time.
Till next time, when we work out what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Look after yourselves and stay out of the sun.